What if I told you that one of the greatest breakthroughs in history, the key that unlocked a 3,000-year-old civilization, wasn't a treasure map or a secret scroll, but a chunk of black rock found by a soldier digging in the dirt? This is the incredible story of the Rosetta Stone. Our story kicks off in July 1799. Napoleon Bonaparte and his French army are in Egypt, not just for conquest, but for science and discovery. In a town by the Nile Delta, known as Rosetta, or Rashid in today's Arabic, there's a bunch of soldiers hard at work, shoring up an ancient fortress. That day was scorching, and the dust was everywhere, making it tough for the soldiers. But then, a soldier, often identified as Lieutenant Pierre-François Bouchard, spots something unusual. Sticking out of a crumbling wall is a large, irregularly shaped slab of dark granodiorite. It's not just any old rock. It's covered, absolutely plastered, with writing. But here's the crazy part. The writing is in 3 completely different scripts. The scholars traveling with Napoleon's army instantly knew this was big. Really big. So, what's with this stone? What makes it so incredibly special, huh? It was this amazing triple inscription that really caught everyone's attention. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. That was the big one everyone was eager to figure out. The beautiful pictorial script of pharaohs and priests, a language that had been silent for over 1,000 years. It was a total mystery. In the middle was a script called Demotic. Think of this as the everyday handwriting of the ancient Egyptians. It was a more cursive, faster way to write, used for government documents and daily records. Still Egyptian, but a later, more practical version of the language. And at the bottom, the final piece of the puzzle, ancient Greek. At the time the stone was carved, Egypt was ruled by a Greek dynasty, the Ptolemies. And lucky for us, 18th century European scholars could read ancient Greek perfectly. The realization hit them almost immediately. This wasn't just 3 random texts. It was the same text, translated 3 times. The Greek inscription was the key. For the first time in history, scholars had a direct, verifiable link between the complete mystery of hieroglyphs and a language they already knew. It was like finding a dictionary for a lost civilization. Now, you might think a document this important would contain some epic tale of gods and heroes. But the actual text was, well, a bit mundane. It was a legal decree, issued by a council of priests back in 196 BCE. The whole point was to honor the pharaoh of the time, a Greek-Egyptian ruler named Ptolemy V Epiphanes, on the first anniversary of his coronation. The decree basically says, hey, this pharaoh is awesome. Everyone loves him. He gave us tax breaks and supports our temples, so in return, we're going to reinforce his divine status and set up statues of him everywhere. It was essentially ancient bureaucratic praise. But the what of the message didn't matter nearly as much as the how it was written. Before the Rosetta Stone came along, reading hieroglyphs was like playing a wild guessing game. It was super tricky. For centuries, people thought they were purely symbolic, that each little bird or squiggly line represented some complex philosophical idea. They believed it was a sacred code of wisdom, not a functional written language. This meant that the entire 3,000-year history of one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, its laws, its religion, its stories, its science, was locked away, inaccessible. It was like looking at a library of thousands of books with no idea how to read the alphabet. The race to figure out the stone was totally on to decipher it. But first, a little geopolitical drama. In 1801, the British defeated the French in Egypt, and as part of the surrender terms, the stone was handed over to the British. It was shipped to London, where it has remained ever since, becoming one of the most famous objects in the British Museum. Now, the intellectual battle could truly begin. 2 brilliant minds would totally dive in, explore, and really break it down. First up was the British polymath, Thomas Young. He was a genius who worked on everything from physics to medicine. Young made a critical breakthrough. He noticed that in the Greek text, royal names like Ptolemy were mentioned frequently. He hypothesized that the corresponding hieroglyphic text must also contain those names. He He correctly guessed that the oval rings, which we now call cartouches, were used to frame the names of royalty. He went a step further and proposed something revolutionary, that the symbols inside weren't just pictures, they were phonetic. They represented sounds, just like our alphabet. He made some good progress, but he couldn't crack the whole system. And that brings us to our hero, the French scholar, Jean-François Champollion. Champollion was totally obsessed with Egypt since he was a kid, and he really poured his heart and his entire life trying to understand, to figure it all out, to unraveling its mysteries. Building on Jung's work, he took the key idea of phonetic sounds and ran with it. He used the known Greek names like Ptolemy, Ptolemaios, and a name from another inscription, Cleopatra, to start matching symbols to sounds. Letters from the Greek names fly up and match with the hieroglyphic symbols, P, T, L, O, etc. By comparing the shared sounds in both names, like P, T, L, and O, he was able to confirm their phonetic values. He realized that the hieroglyphic system was a complex hybrid. It used phonetic symbols for sounds, but also logographic symbols that stood for whole words or ideas. It was this complete understanding that blew the mystery wide open. In 1822, Champollion famously burst into his brother's office, shouted, "Je tiens mon affaire!" "I've got it," and then promptly fainted from exhaustion. Champollion's decipherment was the moment everything changed. Temple walls being read like pages, papyrus scrolls unfurling to reveal stories, the lives of Tutankhamun and Rameses the Great. The Rosetta Stone wasn't just a key to a single text, it was the key to an entire civilization. Suddenly, scholars could read the inscriptions on temple walls, the texts on sarcophagi, the stories written on papyrus scrolls. The history, religion, and daily life of ancient Egypt, which had been silent for millennia, began to speak again. We learned about pharaohs, wars, medicine, and mythology, all because this one stone provided the code. Today, the Rosetta Stone remains an icon of discovery. It is a powerful symbol of how connecting different languages and cultures can bridge the gaps of time, unlocking the secrets of our shared human past. Sometimes the best treasures aren't those shiny gold pieces you see. Instead, it's all about the wisdom we pick up and the cool knowledge we uncover along the way, right? It's like finding gems carved in stone that really make a difference. Absolutely loved sharing today's episode with you. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe for more fun content, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.